Some say Chinese is one of the most difficult languages in the world, and learning it is almost impossible.
So learning Chinese, the most difficult thing.
非常非常非常非常非常难.
So I'm sort of tone deaf. I can't really hear them.
I think the cultural mindset is the biggest complication for
The
us.
grammar.
知吃思诗都很难
It's just complicated so much.
Only because you're not learning it in the right way. Why not try Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Fei Fei, and joining me today in the studio is our Tony Reed.
Fei Fei, what's going on? And hello to everyone out there joining us for the show. We really appreciate you, our loyal listeners. And yeah, I'm looking forward to learning a little something new today, hopefully from Fei Fei.
Yeah, let's see if I'm gonna bring you more about new Chinese uses. But first of all, let me check with you. Did you have pets, or do you have pets now?
I do not have pets now. I don't think that I am in an abode that would be good for pets. But in the past, I used to have a couple of pets.
A couple of pets.
Yes.
So are you a dog person or cat?
They've always been dogs. Me and cats didn't have a good history together. So, yeah, I'm a little more reluctant.
So
both
of your pets are dogs?
Yes, they were dogs. One was a husky and one was a Pomeranian.
Okay, that's like luckily the two only dog species I know, because I'm a cat person.
Okay.
And the only pet I had, well, it's not really my pet. It's a pet of my roommate. But we bond more than my roommate, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a cat. It's a white cat.
No, I think cats are cool if you get a cool one. I mean, if they're really cool, then they're really cool. But then if they're rotten, then they're really rotten. So I'm just, yeah, I guess I must have just hit all the rotten ones.
So this is our topic today. It's about pet and how to say that in Chinese.
I have no idea. How do you say pets in Chinese?
It's 宠物.
宠物.
For this episode, if you're interested in the Chinese culture and you want to get a grip on the Chinese language, this is the show for you. And stick with us for 30 minutes, you will see the rewards. For more fun Chinese learning, you can also follow us on Facebook by Learn Chinese to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now let's provide you with some free Chinese food takeaway, which is 宠物 pet for this episode. First of all, let's have a listen to a little dialogue.
快看，那只活蹦乱跳的小狗也太可爱了，我也想养一只宠物。
宠物是很可爱，但你可要想清楚，你能无微不至地照顾它吗？
你说的对，养宠物需要付出很多的时间、精力和金钱，我是得好好想想。
So Tony, what do you think of the dialogue today?
I think that the conversation is very plausible. And I think that the word usage is something that we could all use, I guess, for beginners like myself. And also, yeah, it brings up something that pet ownership isn't very easy, actually.
Yeah, it's a serious thing that you need to think really thoroughly through.
Right.
But first of all, with the sentences in this dialogue, 快看，那只活蹦乱跳的小狗也太可爱了。
So this is look, or quickly look. That running puppy is so adorable, right?
Yes.
And so we have 快, this is like quick,
Yes.
right? And then 快看, and 看 is look. So just like look, like quickly look, or it's like you're trying to urge somebody to see something very quickly.
Yeah, because you're so eager to show something to this person, so you have this quite quick in the front.
Okay. And then we have 那只, and that is that, right? And then 活蹦, right? This is a new word for me. 活蹦乱跳.
Yeah.
So this is an
one.
expression, and I think this has something to do with like the way something is moving, right?
Yeah, 活 is like living, 蹦 is like jump.
Okay.
乱 is like all over the place, and 跳 is another way of saying jump or hop.
Okay.
So you can see that it's an expression to illustrate something that's really lively and really all over the place and running around, just have a lot of movements.
Okay, and energy. All right. And then we have the xiaoguo. So xiaoguo, I think that's puppy, because you have xiao is small, and I think guo is dog, right?
Yeah. So literal translation would be small dog. But in English, I think there is quite a different expression for big adult dogs and puppies. But in Chinese, it's just 小狗 is puppy, small dog. Like 大狗, big dog, is basically the adult dogs that we normally refer to. So we don't have like different words for different phase in life for dogs and cats.
Okay, just big and small. Okay, that's pretty linear. So we have the xiaoguo ye. So I think this ye here is like also, right?
Yeah, it can be translated into also, but it means something else here that we can dig a little deeper later in the show.
And then tai ke ai le. So tai means like too much, or it's an amplifying word. And then ke ai, this means cute.
Cute and adorable.
Yeah.
So the next one is 我也想养一只宠物.
So this is I want a pet too. So 我也想. So 我 is I, 也 is like to or also.
Yes.
想 is I think this is want, right?
Yeah.
And then we have 养. In this case, it's like raise or bring up. And then 一只, I think this is a quantity expression, right?
Yes.
And then we have 宠物, and this is the pet.
Pet, yes.
Yeah.
I also want to raise a pet is the literal translation to 我也想养一只宠物.
Now, do we need to say here the yang? Because yang is to like raise. Can you say that just I want a pet? Can we remove the yang, or will it sound strange?
So remove the yang would be 我想.
我也想一只宠物.
Yeah, that won't make sense. That won't make sense
That
in
doesn't
Chinese.
work.
Yeah, you can also say 我想要一只宠物. 要 is like another way of saying want.
Okay.
But 养
But
here.
you need to say 想要.
想要.
Isn't that like 要 want? Because both of them mean want, right?
Yeah, 想 is like it implicates like the future tense here.
Oh.
That is something I plan to do. It's not something
Okay.
that's been done or something else. But we need a verb here. Like 养 is if you're going to have a pet, you're going to raise it, you are going to feed it and take care of it. So we need a verb. Sometimes can be 养, raise, or sometimes 要 is like a want.
Okay. Interesting.
So the next one, 宠物是很可愛.
This is pets are indeed adorable. So, as we mentioned earlier, 宠物, this is pet or pets. 是 is. 很 is like very. And then 可愛 is cute, or in this case, adorable.
Yes. 但你可要想清楚，你能无微不至地照顾它吗?
So this is, but you have to think it through. Will you be able to take good care of it? And so, 但 is but,
Yeah.
right? And then 你 is like you, of course. And then here we have 可. This is the part that I'm not sure about.
Yeah, because 可 definitely means other things in previous episodes here.
Right. How do you say drink?
Drink. 饮料.
Or thirsty?
Thursday 可 is the third tone here.
Okay.
And yeah, it's the same tone.
Same
可 is
tone,
also,
right?
Yeah, same tone.
Right. I was like, okay, this looks familiar. Okay, so 你可要想清楚, right? So 清楚 is clear.
Yes.
And then 想 in this case is think,
Yeah.
right? And so, yeah, you want to think about it, right?
Yeah.
And then 你能, you can. 无微不至. This is a kind of an expression. It means like meticulously, right? And then the 照顾. So 照顾 here is like look after or take care of. 他嘛. So 他 must be it.
Yes.
Or that thing, right?
Yeah, because in written languages, there is a difference between she, he, and it. But in spoken Chinese, you can't really hear the difference. It's all ta.
Everything is ta, right? And then ma at the end is the question. It denotes the question, but also ma is normally used when the answer is a yes or no question.
Yeah. Very good here. 你说的对. You're right.
You're right. 你 is you. 说的, so what you said. And sure is say.
Yeah.
And then 对 means like correct.
Yes. 你说的对. 养宠物需要付出很多的时间、精力和金钱.
So this is keeping a pet demands a lot of time, energy, and money. So here we have 养宠物. So yang, I think earlier we found that yang means to like raise, right?
Yeah.
And then 宠物 is a pet. And then 需要 is need, right? And then we have this word that I'm not that familiar with. It's called 付出.
付出, yes.
Yeah, 付出. I think this is like costs, right?
Cost or invest,
Or
spend.
Demands,
Yeah.
right? And then 很多 means a lot. And then 的时间, so 很多的时间, this is a lot of time. 时间 time. And then 精力, I believe that's energy.
Energy, yes.
和 and 金钱. So this is money.
Money.
I know 钱 is normally used by itself as money.
Money.
But this is 金钱.
Jin also Jin means gold.
Okay.
So 金钱 put together, it also means money. It's just sometimes in this sentence, for instance, they have 时间, 精力, both are two words phrase, and you want to have another two-word phrase just to a way of using them together. So 金钱, which also means 钱.
Okay.
With the 金 in the front, it just sort of doesn't change the meaning here, but can be used. I think you can use it interchangeably.
All right.
And the last sentence, 我是得好好想想. Ooh, that's a tricky one.
Yeah. Almost sounds like a different dialect. So this is, I should think about it. Yeah?
Yeah.
So 我 is I. 是 in this case, it's not is.
Yes. It's a way of emphasize something here.
Okay. And then you have this day.
Day
right?
is another 是得 is a way of emphasis.
All right. And then we have 好好
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 Yeah, no, it's a tricky one for you.
好好right?
Yeah, Howard.
Okay, and that is a word I've never heard before. I think this is like to
give a good think of.
A lot about something, right?
Yeah.
And then 想想, I mean, 想 means to think, so to double up, I guess
Yes.
like lightens the tone, maybe.
Yes, it's
All
true.
right.
So 好好 is a very northern way of saying things.
But isn't there another way? I can't remember right now. 应该. What is 应该?
应该 is should.
Right, okay. So that's what I was thinking. Like, 我应该想想. Can I say that?
我应该仔细想想.
Myself.
I should think it carefully.
Right.
Yeah, 仔细 is carefully. 好好想想, which can mean the same as 仔细想想.
Okay.
But 好好 is a very northern dialect way of saying things.
Yeah, it almost doesn't sound Mandarin. It sounds very...
It is Mandarin. Mandarin is based on the northern dialects, like in Beijing, Hebei, and Liaoning provinces. But you won't hear it from people in the southern provinces like Guangdong or Fujian. They also struggle with the hao, especially with the in the end. They're not able to get into to make it, even though they try, like you. Sorry.
It's all right.
So, do you want to give it a go of the whole dialogue?
Let's wing it.
快看，那只活蹦乱跳的小狗也太可爱了，我也想养一只宠物。
宠物是很可爱，但你可要想清楚，你能无微不至的照顾它吗？
你说的对，养宠物需要付出很多的时间、精力和金钱，我是得好好想想。You're listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Fei Fei and Tony Reid in the studio. We'd love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts via email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. And coming up next, let's learn more about the lovely companions of humans, pets, 宠物. Don't go away, so you will take some Chinese away. Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Fei Fei and joined by Tony Reid in the studio. So Tony, about the dialogue that we just touched upon earlier, you struggled with a couple of words, I think, in those dialogues that, especially the words that don't really have a really concrete meaning, but it carries a little functions in the dialogue. For instance, 也 是
yeah.
可 right?
Right. I've heard these words, and some of them sound like other words to me, honestly, like 我是 let's say 我是你是老师, right?
Yeah.
So this is, in this case, the 是 means is.
Yes.
But this 是 in this dialogue is different, right?
Yeah, 我是得好好想想 doesn't mean I is going to think about it, right? It doesn't make sense. But 是 here actually is carrying the function of emphasizing here. It means mostly like really or even something like that. For instance, 昨天我是病了。
病了。
病了。
病. That's not snow. That's not that. That's the wrong one, right?
Sick.
Ah, sick. Okay.
病.
So
冰 is ice. 冰 the first tone is ice. 病 the fourth tone is
okay,
sick.
Means sick. Okay.
So 昨天 yesterday.
Yesterday I was
我
sick.
是病了. I was indeed sick.
So I was sick. So
Yeah.
you're putting emphasis on yourself.
我是 it means I'm not lying here. I'm actually really sick yesterday.
Oh.
So it depends on the tones how you say it. If you say 昨天我是病了, so you put a lot of emphasis on 病了, which means I was sick yesterday.
Okay.
But if you say speaking it as 昨天我是病了, that means I was indeed sick yesterday. I wasn't lying. So you're focusing on putting a lot of stress on 是. And then in this way, you're changing the meaning of 是 here. It's no longer just is. It means indeed or really.
Okay.
Yeah, as a way of emphasize.
Wow. All right.
For example, another example would be 这屋子当教室是太小了.
太小了. So something is very small,
It's
right?
too small.
All right. And what was the first word that you said?
这屋子.
屋子. I'm not familiar with this
屋
word.
子 room is room. This room. 这屋子.
Oh,
This
okay.
room.
This room is too small.
To be a classroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say it again. What was the full Chinese sentence?
这屋子当教室是太小了.
Okay.
So this room is really too small for a classroom. So you're sort of emphasizing that it really is small. Yeah, because maybe you didn't really believe another person complaining about this room being too small to be a classroom. But now you're visiting this classroom and then you realize, yeah, it is indeed too small.
So in this sentence, you have the both shurs there.
Yeah, it
Which is
sure
a little-
carries the both meaning here.
Okay, one of them is the is, and then the other one is the emphasis.
Yeah, and you have to stress when speaking the word 是. Do you want to practice with it?
Okay. 我是学习中文
What do you want to say
I'm
here?
definitely studying Chinese. Does that work?
我是得学习中文.
Day.
I really need to study Chinese.
What is this day?
It means it requires me, and I have to. I must.
So then can I say 我是需要学习中文
Yeah, that makes sense. 我是需要学习中文.
Okay, definitely need. Okay, so this needs to be in front of some kind of verb.
Not really, but it also can be in front of adjective, but it's just in front of anything you want to emphasize on.
Okay, so if I say 我是非常累
我是非常累.
Yeah.
I am indeed very tired.
Does that work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you need to stress the 是 a little bit more.
Okay.
To make the other people
我
realize.
是非常累了
Yes.
Okay.
I am indeed very tired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fun. Okay, let me try one more. 今天是好热
Yeah. Today really is very hot. 今天
Okay.
是很热.
Okay.
Yeah. You can imagine this dialogue as I'm telling you that it's really hot today. 今天很热, and you didn't really believe me in the beginning. And then you went outside and you realized 今天是很热. It is
okay.
really hot today.
It's like an agreement there,
Yeah.
and you're revalidating what someone said. Okay. All right. I think
Yeah.
I might have got that.
And the other one that I think you also struggled with is 渴.
Yeah.
Because
So I thought it was
渴.
drink or thirsty.
If that's thirsty, but it's in different written forms. Thirsty 渴 is written more complicated than this one, than this 渴. Maybe we've talked about this 渴 before in like 可以 can or be able to. But now in this dialogue, the 可 actually means something else here. It doesn't mean can or be able to now. It's another way of emphasize a verb. For instance, 你可别忘了. 你可别忘了.
别忘了. So don't forget, right?
Yeah, don't you forget.
But again, what does that mean again? I forgot.
可 here it doesn't really have a meaning. It's a way of emphasize the verb it follows. 别忘了, don't forget. 你可别忘了, don't you forget. So the 可 you can see in English doesn't have a meaning. But with the 可 in front of the verb, you are sort of emphasizing the action here.
Okay. Can you give me another one?
话可不能这样说. You can't really say that.
话可不能. So 不能 is can't.
Yeah.
这样, I guess that's that. And then 说 is say. So 话 is, what is 话 here?
Is the word you say.
Okay.
So you can't say things like this.
Okay.
So the 可 actually, you can see that the 不能 actually means can't here. So the 可 in front of the 不能 is emphasizing that you can't say something like this. There's another really interesting example that I bumped into in a TV show actually in China. It says 你可以见一个爱一个. You can fall in love with the person you see. 我可做不到. I can't do that.
Oh, you could do that, but I can't.
I can't do that.
So it's the emphasis is like saying that you or whatever it is you're talking about, you're highlighting that
yes.
to make a point.
Yes.
Okay.
我可做不到 is I really can't do something like that.
Okay. 你可说中文.
That means you can speak Chinese.
Yeah. 但是我不可以.
我可做不到. 我不可以 means I'm not able to. So the 可以 still means can or be able to. But if you say 我可说不来, I can't speak.
Okay.
Chinese
So then I need to. Okay. So 你可说会中文. 但是我可不会说
It needs a little modifying here.
Okay.
你可以说中文，你可以说中文，但是我可说不来。
不来 I don't know.
不来
what is that?
I can't say it.
So can I say 我可不会说?
Yeah, 我可不会说。I really can't say that.
Okay.
Or the words, the sentences that my mom often used on me is 你可快走吧，你可快走吧。You just go really fast. Please go away. That's my mom often say to me. 你可快走吧。
You go away. So she's highlighting that you need to do that.
Yeah, you need to go away really fast. She
Interesting.
hurries me away.
你的同事好勤奋
Yeah.
但是你可不 how do you
不
say?
如他们。Is there something you want to say? You're not.
Your colleague is very hardworking, but you're not.
Yeah. 你可不如他们。You are not able to compete with them.
Okay.
你可不如他们。
你可不如
他们。So,
Okay.
不如 means you are not able to compete. You're not comparable to them.
Not them, just one person.
他.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, it doesn't really make difference in Chinese speaking because,
right.
we don't make a plural or single form in any word normally.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 可 is a very, I think, a useful but tricky one.
Yeah, you have to
Right?
practice that one a little bit more. It's not as easy as the other example.
So another word for emphasis in this dialogue is 也, which normally means also, too, but it doesn't mean to in this dialogue. Is another way of saying emphasis. For instance, 他连姓名也不告诉我. He won't even tell me his name.
So 他连姓名 is name. 也不 and then 告诉我 tell me. Okay, and then was is me in this case.
Yeah.
And then 他一瓶牛奶也没喝. 没喝 means no drink. And so she also didn't drink. And then 牛奶, isn't that yogurt or milk or
Milk.
Okay.
她一瓶牛奶也没喝, which actually means she didn't even drink even a single bottle.
Oh,
of
single
milk.
bottle. So 一瓶 is single bottle.
Yeah.
And then 牛奶 is milk. And then 也
也
like
没喝.
also.
The 也 here doesn't mean also. 也没喝 means she didn't even drink.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 也 doesn't really mean you can't understand 也 here as also or to. It's just a function word. Doesn't really have a meaning. It emphasizes the word after it, 没 or 不.
Okay. I think that makes sense. That might also need a little bit more practice. The only one that I know how to use is like 你非常热吗? 我也是. Or just like just to agree with someone that something is also in this
The
way.
same.
But this context for emphasis, it's a little bit
It's a bit tricky, yes.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky.
Going back to our companion's pets here, you said earlier that you had like 2 dogs before.
Yes, I had a husky when I was really young, probably 7 or 8 years old.
I think it requires a lot from you, having a pet.
Of course.
You need to feed it.
Like human beings, like anything living, it requires food, it requires attention, it requires, hygienic routine. It requires...
you have to walk it.
You have to walk them. And then at that time, I had a backyard. So the dog had a space a little bit to run around. Not a huge space, which is why you kind of need to take it out for a walk so that it can go out into the community and do its social messaging, kind of like what we do on our phones. They like to go out and, smell the environment, see how other dogs are living and what they're eating. And so they sniff this and sniff that. So it's, a way for them to kind of interact and mark their territory and all this kind of stuff.
So it's like really fun companion to live with, I would say. But having a pet in China, the concept changed over the years.
Sure.
When I was little, I remember like my grandma had a dog, but she won't consider it as a pet, but someone as a gatekeeper.
Okay,
You know.
so security.
Yeah, it's a way
Very
of security.
functional purpose.
So it's always in the yard. It's never allowed in the room. So the dog just stays in the yard. It has a little sort of a wooden cabin to itself.
How
as
do you call a
its
doghouse? Go.
狗屋 is a very straightforward. 狗屋
Go.
屋 is the room here.
Okay. So dog room. Okay.
Yeah. So it has like a small room, but it's never allowed into the main room that we sleep and eat and live in.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, but now, like, people in China, especially in Beijing, in my neighborhood, a lot of people are having dogs and cats.
Everywhere.
And then it creates businesses around it, like 宠物酒店.
宠物酒店.
Yeah, pet hotels.
Ah, right. Okay.
Or 宠物医院.
Yuan, this is like hospital.
Yeah, it's the hospital treat your pet.
It's a lot of money in that.
Yeah, it's more expensive, I would say, than a human going to a hospital in Beijing.
Yeah, a veterinarian.
Ah, so in English, it relates nothing to the word pet.
No, veterinarian. This is just doctors. They go to medical school, but for animals.
Yeah, but in Chinese, 宠物医院 is the hospital for pets. But if you're wanting to say the science behind it, is actually 兽医.
兽医.
兽 is the animal. 医 is medicine. 兽医.
宠物医院. Interesting.
So you can see a lot of industries evolving around having a pet.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes more expensive.
Yes, a lot of people spend money on a lot of interesting things these days.
Accessories for their pets. But as the dialogue just said, it requires a lot of time and energy and also money. So for people who are thinking about raising or keeping a pet, 养宠物, it definitely needs a lot of thinking behind and planning behind. You need to 好好想想.
好好
想想. Yeah. It's useful in Beijing, but I'm not sure you can use it in places like Guangdong or Shanghai. Yeah, but in Beijing, if you're starting to say 好好想想,好好吃饭, it sounds local.
应该想想 It's a lot easier.
And that brings us to the end of this episode for Takeaway Chinese. I'm Fei Fei with Tony Reid in the studio. And for more episodes of the show, you can visit our website at radio.cgtn.com and go to the column podcast. You can also listen to the show and read the script there. You can also find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts,
including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and much more. Just search for Takeaway Chinese, and don't forget to leave your comments, questions, and ratings.
And that's it for today's Takeaway Chinese. I'm Fei Fei.
I'm TJ Reid. 再见.
Bye.